Well, fuck me. It's only a good Predator film. I really liked Prey. Oh, sorry, microphone. I apologise. I'll never do that again. I really liked Prey. It was great. This review contains spoilers. The spoilers will begin here. I don't know how you spoil a Predator film. I'm increasingly like, why do we even discuss spoilers these days? But I'm not going to spoil it. I've got a feeling the main character might win against the Predator in a forest. Oh, spoilers. Anyway. Yeah, look, so this has been in the offing for a while. It just dropped on Disney Plus this morning. It is Friday, the 5th of August. This will be going live on YouTube on Sunday the 7th and Patreon today. It's a simple story, well told. It's hard to really know what to say. The layup is that it's a young Comanche girl, a Native American, versus a predator in the 18th century. Pretty simple layout. Comics and things have done versions of this before, i.e., you know, the young blood tribes person fights a predator. There was a Ian Edgington story that was similar with no dialogue, which is very good. And this film apparently is available in a Comanche dub, I believe, which is crazy, really mad. And I can see how that would work. I mean, you know, in the style of Apocalypto or Passion of the Christ or something. This is a really artfully made film. I really liked, one of the first things I liked was when I opened up Disney Plus today and it said 1 hour and 40. And I was like, yes, exactly. You don't need 2.5 hours to tell a Predator story. There's no backstory about the politics on fucking Yautja Prime. It's about this young woman's story against the backdrop of coming of age in the Comanche community. It really uses its short runtime well to tell a simple story well. I can't stress that enough. It's a real slow burn. It just kind of... there's quite a lot of sections going back to the kind of dubbed version, which I haven't watched. There's whole sections without dialogue. There's lots of really slow takes. The DOP on this was Jeff Allen, who's worked with Dan Trachtenberg on things before, most notably 10 Cloverfield Lane. I think that's the one that Trachtenberg's most known for. I love the cinematography in this. I thought it was so good. It's used to such powerful effect. I just think there's loads of really great visual storytelling in it. There's loads of great framing. All of the action is very clear. Everything that's going on is clear. The use of kind of forest environment rather than the jungle is very plain and simple, but artful. Lots of very slow tracking moves. There are fights in it that are kind of, oh look, a single long take. I can see what's going on. Lots of long takes. Though I appreciate lots of like long takes now are fake. And music by Sarah Schachner, she's done video game soundtracks and stuff before. Really great music, which doesn't use any of the Alan Silvestri music from John McTiernan's Predator, and I think that's a good thing. What I really like about this, and this is the top of the pile for this movie, is that it's not constantly dwelling on and referencing the past. There's one line repeated from the first Predator, which you'll know, that one character says, and I was just like, why? You didn't have to do that. I trusted you enough. It didn't take me out of the movie. It didn't stop me enjoying the movie. But I was like, you don't need to do that. You know, I trust you enough to tell your own story. So this doesn't feel like John McTiernan's Predator, but then it's not trying to. Predators is desperately trying to feel like John McTiernan's Predator. And I kind of like Predators. I've said that before, but it's desperately trying to be this. This plows its own furrow in such a big way. And I really massively respect that about it. It's telling its own story in its own style. Ultimately, this story is quite similar. I think, as Duncan and I have said previously, you can only do so much with a Predator film. Someone's going to fight a big monster in a place. Like, I'm sorry, but like, you can get into the reads about the fucking backstory of the Predators and stuff, but you can only do so much in a movie and make it compelling. And honestly, from the outset, I looked at this kind of like, well, I know what this is, right? I know what this story is. I know what's going to be said with this. What can we say? It's how you say it. And in a number of the really long kind of dialogue-free sections, in a number of them really, there are bits of visual storytelling, actual movie making, the kind of stuff that's completely absent from Shane Black's The Predator, which kind of was filmed like a sitcom. It's a real cinematic experience. There's kind of visual kind of matches and visual metaphors and parallel edits and stuff that sell you the story, the situation, the characters, and I think that's so brilliant. It seems to be in its visual language concerned, and generally it's concerned about hierarchies in society and in nature, right? And even the original Predator doesn't really do that. So there's bits of slightly on the nose kind of visual bits of a food chain in motion. You just watch a food chain happen. You see kind of parallels between two different warrior cultures, arguably the culture clash, but you also see that the native community and the Predator have more in common than they do with the kind of colonizers that are there. They're French colonial hunters, I think, based on their era. I'm not very good at history, but they speak French. And you know how technology doesn't necessarily win and stuff like that. And I thought it was really fucking good. It's a really fun, good story, well told, in an hour and 40. No fucking around. Off you get. Likeable characters, intriguing kind of character work. Because we know what's going to happen, right? We know what's going to happen between the girl and the Predator. It's how she handles it, how she learns, and how she moves through that world, and how she comes to understand the creature and the mystery. Which takes me to something else, something I've complained about with Predator movies before. Namely Predator 2. Predators has enough new stuff to kind of keep you hooked. But the big crime with Predator 2 is, and that was written by Jim and John Thomas again, is that you're watching characters solve a mystery that we know the answer to, which is kind of a waste of time. It's like, well, yeah, they're fighting a predator. This shows the predator land, the predators on the planet, on Earth, and it's not hiding what it is. We know what it is. Don't waste our time. Throws you straight into the world, and it's watching the girl kind of figure it out and find out who she is and what it means to her and how she changes and her kind of arc as a character and how she comes to prove herself. It's fucking great. Watch it if you've got Disney Plus. I recommend it highly. It's not the most amazing film ever made, but like, I know my expectations for all things Predator are quite low. It's not the most incredible movie, but it's a great, fun movie. Right, okay, spoilers now. In as much as you can spoil a Predator film, we're going to do spoilers. So the spoilers begin here. So if you haven't seen it, go off and watch it. A girl fights a Predator, right, in a forest, and she lays a trap, and she beats the Predator, and she wins. It's a fucking Predator movie. What do you want from me? Like, don't spoil the Predator movie. It's a fucking Predator movie, man. I don't know what to tell you. That's not the interesting thing. That's not the meat on the bones. In terms of what happens, yeah, she moves through the world. She has family. She meets kind of a bunch of kind of white hunters and stuff. Like, she has got the kind of Mulan arc where, like, you know, she's good at medicine. She's good at kind of cooking. And in that society, she's supposed to just be a woman and a mother and stuff. She doesn't want to do that. She wants to hunt like her brothers, and she has to prove herself, which she, of course, does in a big way by killing a predator. The stuff that you might consider kind of spoilery is that the Predator is kind of a bit more analog. So you can only do so much with that because the Predator has to come to Earth on a spaceship, right? There's no getting around that. The Predator's going to come to Earth on a spaceship. It's a Predator. But I think you can have a kind of more analog Predator and that still fit into that world. I mean, I think probably the Predators have like technologically plateaued, like in Star Wars, and they just go around doing their thing. I've said stuff like that before. But it has the 3 lasers, and this was a nice little kind of surprise. It does the 3-dot laser, but then the lasers start to converge, and then you realise it doesn't have a plasma caster. It fires arrows, like little bolts. It also has a bone mask, as you've probably seen. So it just makes it seem a bit more kind of primal, a bit more kind of tribal. So it has that. So they've done that. There's a bunch of new tricks in the box in terms of the Predator's toys and stuff. There are some fucking great kills, because let's face it, we're watching a Predator movie. There's loads of really great kills in it, like really cool kind of gory blood splat kind of inventive things, new things you haven't seen the Predator do. I really felt that when the main characters get one up on the Predator, you really care because you like them. They're really likable characters, and when they kind of you're watching them get the bully in a way that's more involved in the first movie. You kind of see the Predator really take a beating off them, which is fantastic. But it's not easy. It never feels easy. Like her and her brother are the ones who make it most of the way. They have to learn and adapt and figure out what's going on between the two of them. They talk about how they fill each other's gaps and stuff, and they get towards the end, and the brother dies, and she's the one that kind of finishes it. But it takes a lot out of them. It's hard. Never feels easy, which is really great. I don't kind of feel... Again, it's so hard to spoil this because it's like, what were you expecting? It's a Predator film. But it's just so nicely paced. It's really nicely put together. I really loved the visual element in particular, and the music. I thought it was fantastic. Not relying upon the other movies doing your own thing. I think that's so important because like we've had these versions that just, again, The Predator is fucking awful. Predators I like, that's controversial, not everybody does, but I like Predators. This does its own thing in such a way, the guy says, if it bleeds we can kill it, and it's just like, you didn't need to do that, I trusted you enough. And I'm not holding it against the movie, right? I don't think, it's not a capital crime, but it was a bit disappointing. It's like, you don't have to do that. The rest of it, there's one or two, so one guy gets kind of cut across his chest like Billy to attract the predator. I didn't really spot much else. It doesn't use the music, and I'm usually a big advocate of using characters' themes. This is a different predator and a different prey, so it has its own music, and it has its own kind of sonic kind of scape. And you know what? It's not shot, cut, or edited like the original. It's definitely closer to a kind of 80s style action movie than the stuff we're getting at the moment. It's a lot, it's not nearly as choppy in its edits and stuff, but it's not that film. And that film was great, and it happened, and it's gone, and we need to move on. And if we must do this, let's make it a bit different. And it's so hard to say that because it is fundamentally very similar. Someone fights a predator and wins, but it's what gets us there. I'm as surprised as you, right? Like, someone made this intriguing to me, but I just thought it was a lovely slow burn that kind of immerses you into this world, shows you its kind of box of tricks very slowly, and just leads you through by the hand as you watch all this stuff unfold. And I honestly think, I haven't watched the Comanche dub. I'd really like to, because I think it would work. I really think it would work if you didn't understand it. I think the fundamental kind of story's there. Do you know what? It was thrilling and gripping. Like, I sat here watching it. It's Friday. It's 20 to 2 on a Friday. I had to get out of bed today, have my cup of tea and go, right, I've got to watch Prey because I'm going to do a review. Put it on in the front room, man. I was fucking gripped by it. It's a gripping, exciting film. It recaptured a lot of what was good about Predator. You kind of, in Predator, you kind of go through it. You don't quite know what's going on. You get kind of all these things revealed to you. This can't do that, so it kind of focuses on this girl and her story and who she is, and you care about her enough to want her to beat this kind of bully. They've redesigned the Predator again. I think that rarely works. Aren't many Predator designs that I like as much as the original. This one's cool. I'm not mad about it, but it needs to be different. Fundamentally, it's really important that it be different. And it does that. It does its own thing very nicely. So, yeah, I'm so sorry if I keep saying this. I don't know what to tell you. It's a Predator movie, right? It's just, I think it's just really brilliantly constructed. That I think that's what's good about it. There was supposedly a plan to release this because it went straight to streaming, so it's on Disney Plus. There was a plan to release this as a surprise, and I can see why they might not have had. If that is true, if they didn't have the faith to follow through on that, I can see why. Do you look at the potential pot of gold of one Friday, everybody finds this new movie called Prey on Disney Plus. The first 15 minutes is about a coming-of-age story for a girl kind of being rejected from certain gender roles on the basis of her gender. And then a predator turns up. Like, do they roll that dice where it's like there's this viral thing? It's like they released a secret Predator movie. Or do they do this? The girl with the predator blood on her face. And I get it. They played it safe. I can see why they would do that. But I think it would have been amazing if they had followed through and just done we secretly made a Predator film. That would be fucking amazing. Anyway, I liked Prey very much. Prey might be the second best Predator film, I think. Despite the name of this channel and the stuff we cover, I don't lionise Predator as much as some people think. But I think this might be the second best Predator movie. It was really fucking cool. Like, Alien, take note. Back to fucking basics. Alien, take note. Like, this is just the most... But, well, actually, just don't make any more Alien films. But I've also said don't make any more Predator films, so what do I know? Back to basics approach, but doing it differently and making it interesting. It has the kind of economy of a modern action film such as Dread or The Raid. It's a simple story, well told, under 2 hours. And we need more of that, but people don't want medium budget fucking movies anymore. The studios certainly don't. They just can Batgirl forever. Oh no, I didn't mean that pun. But they just chucked Batgirl away because it's only a $90 million film. Like, get the fuck out of here. You think you can just burn this stuff off? It's the kind of medium budget stuff. And do you know what? More franchise stuff should be medium budget. Do you know what? I know Terminator has a fucking history of escalating budgets. Make a fucking $50 million Terminator movie. The first one wasn't even $50 million. Like, make, by, inflation there, make that. You could make a fucking $40 million Star Wars movie. Like, there's enough talent out there, but you fucking don't. you'd pile everything to $300 million and then wonder why you're skint. Bin off a Batgirl movie that you bought Michael Keaton back for. Cunt's going to die sooner or later and you pissed him up the wall. We're going to get a documentary about that soon, aren't we? 25 years, the crowdfunded Whatever Happened to Batgirl doc, which I'll probably end up working on. Anyway, that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about Prey. Prey was great. Go watch it. I hope you enjoyed this review. Duncan wasn't available to take part because he's off having a daughter and working, and he's busy today. So what we're going to try and do is get together on Sunday or Monday once the dust has settled on this, and we're going to do a two-person chew over of it, as we did with The Batman. So that will be coming soon. In the meanwhile, if you haven't watched this before, we have Val Verde Broadcasting. Do like and subscribe, you lovely folk. And that's it from me for now. Please discuss below. I've got a feeling our audience is going to have a lot to talk about with this one. Also, I've just been playing Alien vs Predator again, the 2010 version, and as you remember, with the very dawn of this challenge, this channel, I started a Let's Play series with Kevin, the Work Experience Predator. And I've just been thinking to myself, do I bring that back? Do I play a bit of Kevin? So if you feel like a live stream of me playing as a Predator to commemorate Prey, give me a shout. We could do that. It could be fun. So yeah, like and subscribe, comments below. See you soon. Bye.